Hey guys. So if you hear that means you watched my first video, congratulations on being a pretty good fucking person. Um, so I did tell you guys a little bit of my relationship with my ex and how that worked out and stuff like that. And just different scenarios. Again, huge trigger warning. Things will come up, flashbacks, things that are just going to be really uncomfortable for anybody who's been through domestic violence, or who's going through it now. I did want to let you guys know that it will trigger you, so be careful. I also want to say I'm not doing this to be mean to anybody. I'm not here to judge anybody, to throw dirt on anybody's name. I'm not here to make anybody look bad, nothing like that. I'm literally just trying to raise awareness with the things that people go through, and the sad part is that I'm reaching that goal. It's bittersweet. I feel amazing to be able to be that voice for people, but also the amount of people that are coming up with the same story or similar story, or that have gone through this is really devastating, to say the least. So this video we're going to talk about what led up to the day that I left, why I left, and just like, the typical what happened that day, because a lot happened. Now, with that being said, so like I said, a lot did happen. So let's just kind of get into it a little bit. So, it really just starts off with me basically, just, and I have to say this, you're gonna have to excuse me a little bit, just having to relive this isn't easy. It's pretty hard, but again, I'm here to just do this for the men, women that may be going through this now, who've gone through it, I'm really just doing it for you guys. So when everything first happened, me leaving, when I decided, I really just decided, because I was going through a lot. My mental state was not the greatest, because I felt really trapped. I felt like I wasn't going anywhere and I wasn't going to do anything with my life in general, because I was so controlled. So my ex really just used a lot of what I felt, what I vented, what I confided in him against me, whether it's stuff from my childhood, or just my insecurities. He really took advantage of me feeling that way, and that's what helped him control and manipulate me, what made it so easy, which happens a lot. It happens to a lot of people, where this actually just makes it so much easier to be controlled, and it really makes it easy for them just because they know that you're already pretty much broken down. They just need that really big barrier to break you even more, and that's really what happened. So how it happened, so I was pretty suicidal. I felt like there was no other way out. This was the only way I was going to be able to get away from my situation. I have tried previously, numerously in my life, but mostly a lot within my relationship with my ex. I tried a lot without my family knowing, and I really just, I was not good, and it just got to the point where I couldn't handle it anymore, and I think he really realized that, Um, and me, I believe that he didn't want to be the fault for it. He didn't want to say it was because of him, or anything like that. And I think his guilty conscience couldn't let it happen. So he actually let me go visit my family, which sounds dumb, but that's exactly how it happened. He let me go see my family. Do you see how that sounds? And this happens more often than none, where you have to be let to do something that it should be a common thing to do, you know? So there I was. I got picked up by my brother, and I was able to go spend some time in Bakersfield, where I am now, to go spend some time with my family. And it sounds crazy, but it really was what I needed. So I came here to visit my sister and her family, and it was nice. It brought me back to my roots, to what I needed to see, who I was, and I was grateful for that. It brought me back to see like who I was outside of him, and it made me realize a lot of things about him. It made me see him for who he was, but I didn't know if I should believe it or if it was just me, but it wasn't. I was able to see who he was. And at first I seen him as a monster, but I don't really think that's what it was, honestly. Like he wasn't just a monster. He was someone that was him. To me, I seen him that way because of everything I've gone through, things that I've missed, things like that. Yeah, I mean, we're talking about years being away from my family, and I resented him for it. So my sister, we were going through a lot, and I found out he cheated on me, which made my mental state worse. Now, I was talking to my sister about this, and this girl was supposed to be my friend, right? I brought her around. I hung out with her. She actually came over to my house a lot of times. Now, we had an apartment together. So, you can kind of see how it's a little devastating, finding out that he cheated on me with someone that I considered a friend, which she never was in the first place. And I should have picked up on all the tells, really, from her and from him. A lot of specifics came out that I'm not really going to mention, just because I don't want to make anybody look bad. That's not my intention with this video. But let's just say a lot of things were happening in my face that I didn't realize, or just when I wasn't in the same room. Yeah. But I didn't know just yet, right? So let me backtrack a little bit, okay? So before I came to see my sister, it was just really like for my mental health. I came to see her, and I had my suspicions, but I didn't have proof. Now, this girl, she was telling me all these things, and I was already pretty broken down, so I wasn't in my regular, like, we can fight stage. I was confused. I was lost. I was everything but mad. And so when it got to that point, I was trying to decide whether or not I should go back. I had to decide if I really wanted to be with him, but I wasn't sure. I knew it was just something that was going to hold over me. So, I went back. Now my family told me, once you go back, you can't. This isn't going to be a reoccurring thing where you're just going to come and go and come and go. It doesn't work that way, which was understandable because at that time it was kind of like, dude, it's in your face. Listen, which I should have. Going back, I actually found out quite a lot of information. So I saw this video on Twitter about how to see locations. Now, I was never the person that would look through someone's phone, ever. And I think that's how he got away with a lot of the things he did, because I always trusted his word. That's just the type of person that I am. And that day I needed proof. So I had him show me the proof. I followed the instructions in the video to show me his locations. And that was all the proof I needed. It confirmed everything. It showed the location of her apartment complex, the times, including, which confirmed all my suspicions of all the times that I've ever had suspicions, because they had a timestamp on it. It had a date on it. And to make it worse, he was using my own car to do it. You see how stupid that made me feel? It was horrible. So horrible. So much so that I became angry. But I was not angry to the point where I wanted to rebel. I was hurt. I was, this is someone that I spent years thinking I was in love with, fooling myself. We were actually planning on getting married that New Year's Eve or day. We never did. I can tell you that much. Thank God. So the day of. So, like I said, I came to come visit my sister and her family. I went back the day after Christmas. The day after that, which was the 27th, that's when things got real. That's when everything came to light. So I told them about the stuffs, about the location. We've seen it. I was packing my bags. I'm leaving. Now, I was always told, hey, if you're gonna look for something and you find the answer, you better be ready to do something about it. I was never the person that was gonna get an answer and ignore it, so I didn't. That was literally the feather that I needed to push me out. What I needed to get out of there, honestly. And that was the eye-opener for me. This man did not love me. What the hell was I holding on to? Honestly. Let's be honest about that. So I didn't hold on. I packed my bags and I said, I'm leaving. Now, this was the day that I left. This was probably at like 9 in the morning. And that's where things started getting rough. Now, we fought. In terms, we argued. And I told him, I'm leaving. I'm not staying for this. And I didn't want to stay for this. And he didn't like that answer. He wanted me to stay. He wanted me to ignore everything and push through. He wanted me to be the type of person that that stayed because I loved him. No. No. That's not love. It's not what someone who's in love does. And I knew that. And all I needed was that nice, fresh air of being away from him to realize that. And I told him I'm leaving. Packed my stuff and I said I'm calling my brother to come get me. Luckily, my sister was still in town and I didn't know that. I thought she was going to leave by now. And I didn't get the chance to call my brother just yet. At this time, it was like 10 o'clock in the morning. We argued a little bit and he said, "You're really leaving?" I said, "Yeah, I'm really leaving." I grabbed all my stuff that I could and I started packing it. And I grabbed my phone. He said, "You're not gonna do it. Just put your stuff back and lay down." I said, "No." And I started stacking stuff by our apartment door. I said, "No, I'm really leaving. I can't take any more of this. You cheated on me. On top of everything else. You gave me the reason to see you for the shitty person you are. And to leave. So that's what I'm doing." Now, at this point, he took my phone. He took it and he told me I couldn't call my brother. That I was gonna sit my ass down and talk. And I said, what is there left to say? Right? You did what you did. You went with her. Whatever. Then he kind of threw salt on the wound and decided to tell me exactly what happened. He told me, if I told you exactly what happened, the entire truth, you're gonna stay. Why that made sense to him, I don't know, but that's exactly what he did. He told me everything. How when I was at work, he'd mess around with her. When we would fight, he'd go to her. He'd tell her things about me, about our relationship. How I was crazy. He really told her I was crazy because I was not in the right mental space. They would mess around all the time when we were all drinking together and I would go to the restroom. And then I'd come back and they'd act like they never knew each other. Then he told me the only reason why he's telling me this is because she claimed to have been pregnant. Now, mind you, for years I was trying to have kids with him because this was someone I wanted to spend my life with. So that completely broke me. And he knew that. He knew that that was gonna hurt me the most. And it did. A lot. And I got so angry that I pushed him away. I snatched my phone out of his hand and I called my brother. And I told him, please come and get me. And my brother was like, what are you talking about? What's going on? And I was like, just come get me. I'll explain when you get here. I want to leave. And he was like, okay, be there in a few hours. Give me a few minutes, I'm doing something. Now, my brother didn't exactly know what was going on, and he wasn't too sure what was going on, honestly. You know, he had his own things he was going on, and I wasn't sounding like it was an emergency. So, you know, he kind of finished what he was doing. Now, at this point, he got so angry that he he punched me in my face. And he told me, "You really freaking called them?" And I said, "Yeah, I told you I'm leaving. Mind you, I'm holding my face because my nose is bloody." And I told him, "I'm leaving. I'm not staying for this. Like, how dare you? You're having a kid with somebody else. You're gonna sit here and try to make me stay? No. I'll be damned." So I got the rest of my stuff with my nose bloody, while he constantly told me, "Are you serious? Are you kidding me? This is what's gonna make you leave? After everything we've been through," mind you, I reminded him it was what I went through. I reminded him it was everything I went through, not you. You went through nothing. Nothing. And I told him I don't care what he had to say. I don't care what he did. I was leaving. Now at this point it was almost noon. He kicked me. He pushed me. He did the most. Until finally he damn near Spartan kicked me to this little dresser thing we had, and I fell to the floor. And he started stomping on me, on my stomach, and told me I was never gonna have a kid with anybody, and he'll be sure of it. He was so sure that I had to stick through that and fight through it. I had to fight through him constantly beating me for hours. Until finally I got outside. I left the apartment and I went outside and I ran down the stairs so quickly. And I waited for my brother outside. Mind you, my brother was in a different town, so it already took a while for him to get there. And he threatened me to come back upstairs into the apartment. He said, "Get back up here or I'm breaking your dad's picture." Now, if you know me, you know my dad passed away a while back, so that picture meant a lot to me. And he was gonna break it. So I went back. I went back because I didn't want it to be broken. And I did. Now, there's this little bear that my dad gave me when I was really young, and I've held on to it for years. And as soon as I walked into that door, he snatched that bear out of my hand and he burned it. In my face, he burned it. He ripped the head off of it and he threw it at me and laughed. Then he proceeded to go out into the balcony and break my dad's picture. Then came back inside and decided to keep beating my ass. Why, I don't know. I did everything he told me to do. Everything. I followed all his instructions. I came back when he told me to come back. And he still broke my dad's picture. And he kept beating me. I'm talking about he kicked me, he pushed me, he punched me, all the above. At this point, it was about maybe 2 o'clock. And I had, he wasn't too happy that I called my brother. So he had me call him back and tell him I was just kidding, that he didn't need to come. So I did, because he told me to stop. I told my brother, "No, don't come. I don't need you to come. I was just kidding. I don't know. I just wanted to see you, you know?" My brother knew, and he still came. He kept threatening me. He said, no, you're lying. You didn't call him and tell him. It's like, call him again. Tell him not to come. If he comes, I swear. And then he kicked me in my face and told me, call now. He gave me back my phone and he threw it at me, at my face. And he said, call. So I did. Again. Now at this point, my brother knew something was going on. He said, no, what's going on? And I said, nothing. It's nothing. Now, mind you, he's standing over me, telling me, looking at me with that face that, like, he better not come. Although I knew my brother was still coming, he didn't. And then I got off the phone and he did it again. He kicked me on my side, on my ribs, and told me, I told you not to call. Why would you call? You're so stupid. And then he said, why don't you ever listen? You're so stupid. You're so dumb. You're so worthless. And he proceeded to continue beating me. So I did the one thing that I knew I could do to protect myself. I went into the kitchen. I went into that kitchen and I grabbed a knife and threatened him. Don't come closer, don't touch me. Let me go. He said, okay, you can go. And I told him, give me my dog. Now, if you know me, you know my dog is very important to me. I love her. She is like my child. He said, okay, come get her. I said, okay. Put her down. He said, no, come get her. I'm not gonna do nothing. I believed him. He grabbed the knife out of my hand. He threw it at me. He pushed me into our room, onto the floor. And he did the most messed up thing, honestly. He grabbed the taser that he had, and every time I grabbed the knife, he tased me. Every time I yelled at him, he tased me. Every time I tried to fight back, he tased me. Every little thing I did, he tased me. When I didn't call my brother to make sure that he wasn't coming, he tased me. He wanted to make sure that I did. But my brother knew better. He knew better and he came anyway. At this point, it was like 4 or 5 o'clock. I had a huge lump on my head. My nose was still bloody. My ribs hurt so bad. And I had tase burns all over me. At some point, he tased my neck and my chest to the point where my teeth were chattering like I was cold. They were grinding against each other and I couldn't talk. I spent hours fighting because I knew I was gonna be saved. I just didn't know how long it was gonna take. But in the end, it was worth it. At some point, he took my phone and he said he's taking it with him and I'm staying in the house. soon as he opened that door, there he was, my brother, with my sister and my brother-in-law. They were finally here. My brother came in like, what's going on? And he grabbed my phone out of my ex's hand and said, what are you doing? Give her her phone back. And he was like, what's going on? And I was like, I just want to leave. That's it. I'm leaving. I don't care. I just want to leave. Now, mind you, at this point, my brother is talking to him and telling him, like, what the fuck are you doing, right? Like, what's wrong with you? Why'd you take her phone? Like, he's confused. And then my sister sees my face. And he was like, she yelled. She was like, he put his hands on her. And my ex immediately ran to the bathroom that was in our room. And my brother is trying to get him out of the bathroom, like, come out. Like, what the hell? Like, why did you do that, basically? And just, like, doing what big brothers do. He wasn't too happy at all. But my brother wanted to fight him. And my ex was too busy in our bathroom. He was in our bathroom calling his cousin, telling him that he was gonna get jumped. And he wasn't. My brother was very unhappy. Eventually, my brother ended up locking himself in the room with him, which was scary. I didn't know what was gonna happen, and I didn't want anything to happen to my brother in every sense of the way. I didn't want my brother to get in trouble because I didn't leave sooner. So me and my sister begged for him to open the door, and he finally did. It wasn't an exciting moment. I was scared that my brother had done something that would have been my fault because I didn't leave sooner. So my brother opened the door, jacket off, hat off. Things were gonna go down. And my ex was scared. Finally, I seen the fear in his face. The fear that he was giving me for hours that day. And all I wanted was to grab what little stuff I could and leave. And I kept repeating that over and over again. I just want to leave. I just want to grab my stuff and go. That's it. That's all I wanted, was to get out. I didn't care what I left behind. I just wanted to leave. But my brother was not going to go down without a fight. My ex eventually came out of the bathroom. He had a gun. And he ran to it. It wasn't loaded. There wasn't anything in the chamber. But he pointed it at my brother anyway. My brother laughed at him. Obviously, me and my sister, we didn't know about this stuff. But my brother and my brother-in-law did. My brother laughed at him and told him, if you're gonna point that at me, you better pull the trigger. Because he was a joke. There was nothing in there. He thought it was gonna scare my brother, and it wasn't. My brother laughed at him and said, I have bigger guns in my face, honey. Not like that, but this is my version. Okay. And now, me and my sister were really scared. I was trying to stand in the middle, in between him and my brother, because if anything were to happen, it's gonna be me. My sister was on the phone with the cops. She called them because obviously he had a gun. No, I was scared because this was my fault. Obviously, my brother knew there was nothing there. He wasn't gonna do anything. He just tried to scare him. Even though it didn't work, it scared me. Just the possibility of it, but me not knowing there was nothing in there was still scary, you know? I thought there was. So they laughed it off. Well, my brother laughed it off, and my ex was scared, and he put the gun down and quickly ran back into the bathroom. My brother was like, come out, you know, like, you're so brave to try to pull out a gun, come out. Not long after, probably like about 5-10 minutes after the cops got there, had all of us get out of the house. Now, the cops is asking what's going on, and I sat there quietly. And then my sister is showing him all of my stuff. Everything that I had, from the big bump on my forehead to my lip, my nose, everything that was hurt. Now, the cops couldn't do anything without me pressing charges, and I didn't want to. I just wanted to hurry up, grab my stuff, and leave. The entire situation. Now, I just want to say, if you're in this situation, press charges. Because in the long run, it saves other people's lives. Truly. Now, I didn't press charges, but I wish I had. Every day I'm going to live with that. But sooner or later, I'm not going to care. But if you're in that, press those charges. Press them. Especially if you have proof. Now, the cops ended up taking my ex for the gun thing. They took him in. I got what little stuff I could, and I left. I almost didn't take my car because I wanted to trade him for my dog. The cops got my dog and told me, take the car. It's in your name. Why would you want to give it up? I said, I don't know. Just want to leave. Grabbed what I could and I left. Never turned back. I had everything, but I had nothing. But I gained my family back. I gained myself back. I started over, yes, which sucked. But I gained more than I lost. Now, in the few days after leaving, he was constantly texting me, telling me I'm worthless, nobody could ever love me, I was completely unlovable. He was telling the girl that he cheated on me with a bunch of stuff that wasn't true, kind of manipulating her, and she fell for it, obviously, because she's dumb. And they moved into, they didn't move into it. He kept taking her to our apartment while writing me, telling me all of this really messed up stuff, and then switching up and telling me how much he loves me and how much he wants to be with me, how sorry he was, and how he could never love a girl like her, meaning the girl that he was cheating on me with, how he was completely disgusted by her. So disgusted that he still had her hanging around our apartment. So I did what any petty girl would do. Everything was in my name, including the apartment. So I cut off all the lights, the water, everything. I told him, well, screw her in the dark. You may have the apartment, but what are you gonna watch? How are you gonna go to the bathroom? So, now, the only messed up thing was that he was still in that apartment, which was under my name. So I was fighting with the apartment complex to get them out so I can get it out of my name. The only way we can do that was if he took her with him to put her name on there instead. He didn't do that. Now I thought, of course he didn't. He could only screw her in the apartment and not put her name on it. Good job. You bagged him, sis. So, she even, when I first left, she even wrote me and was like, congratulations, you won. And I'm like, what did I win? I won nothing worth the prize. You can have him. I don't want him. That's why I left. She kept him. Of course. Not for long, though. They moved to his mom's house and broke up, and she called the cops on him. For anything worth the time, no. Now, she claimed a lot of things that never happened to her. But of course, being the drama queen she is. But that's not the point of this. So let me backtrack a little bit. So in the first days that I got here, he would write me all the time telling me how I'm a worthless piece of shit, blah, 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 blah. Then he would switch and tell me how much he loved me and how sorry he was. How he was going to change and he was going to go to anger management. How if I just came back, everything would go back to normal. Now I knew the reason why he wanted me back wasn't because he loved me. It was because he was losing everything. Everything that my dumbass put in my name. The car that was in my name that I paid for every day since 2015. He wanted the dumbass that he raised. Me. Because everything was in my name. I paid for everything. He paid for basically nothing. Yeah, that's how stupid I was. I even gave him all my money. School, work, all the above. I paid everything. He helped with rent after the first year because he actually got a job. But for the most part, all the bills, all of everything I paid for. Food, I scrounged up money for. Gas, I paid for. Literally everything I paid for. It was so bad. Meanwhile, he got to live it up and pay whatever he wanted for himself, spoil himself out of his own money, even though he made more than me. Yeah, we made everybody see that it was him. Well, we fooled everybody into thinking that he made the money because that's what he wanted, and I didn't want to make him look less than a man. That's how he put it anyway. He was less than a man because I made more money, so he messed me up in school. Less than a man because I did all the stuff, yet he bragged about how I was smart. He was so contradicting. That's how he manipulated me. He built me up to break me down, and that's what they do. Am I sad? No. I'm mad that I put myself through that, my family through that. That they're now getting to know me all over again, as if I was a stranger who walked into their lives. I was resentful. I changed my number. With some coaching. I didn't do it willingly. I mean, I did, but it was very Stockholm Syndrome-y. Now, did I know if I had Stockholm Syndrome? I don't know. But I got the vibes. I empathized with my abuser. I sympathized with my abuser. Like, he didn't just do a bunch of stuff to me. I felt more sorry for him than for me. It's so stupid. But I did. I did. So after a while, he started noticing that I wasn't falling for any of his old tricks. So he started threatening me, telling me he was going to come find me. He knew where I was. I turned off my location. I changed my number. I even told my new job that if anybody comes to ask for me, they don't know who I am. I was so scared he would find me. So scared to the point where I had nightmares. For months. Nightmares for months after. I remember one nightmare I woke up in the dream, and everything that I was living in reality was a lie. It was a dream. And he got so mad and started beating the life out of me because I was saying names in my dream. woke up in the middle of the night crying in my sleep, obviously. And then I really started crying. I had to turn on my light, look around, go downstairs, look into my niece and nephew's room to see that this was reality. This was real. I've had reoccurring dreams like that for a long time. Months after. They finally stopped around my birthday, when I started accepting and embracing my new life. Now it came with some challenges. After I left, I was so broken, and I felt that I didn't deserve anybody because that's what he made me feel. So I went through what people call a hoe stage. Granted, it was only for one person, but still I call it that. I messed around with somebody that I met, and it didn't feel right. After a few moments, I stopped. It felt so not me. And it's not what I wanted. I was ready to be somebody's wife. I couldn't just be with somebody without those strings attached, so I didn't. There's more to that, but either way, I wasn't too keen on fixing that situation, so I didn't. And I kept it moving. And that's when I knew. That's not what I wanted. That's not who I was. Why am I gonna break myself down even more? So I didn't. No strings attached. It's not me. So I took more time on healing myself. I was drinking a lot, obviously. I was really sad, really hurt, really broken, drank too much. So I stopped. Granted, my sister helped me realize that. So I did. Still drink here and there, but not how I was in the first 2 months of being here. Now, the dreams that I was having were so bad. On occasion, I woke up crying, or I woke up sad, or I woke up scared, looking around, making sure that this is reality. I had to remind myself a lot that I was here, not there, with him. It was really hard. I would be lying if I said there isn't some type of adjustment period when you leave, because there is. In more than one way. It took a lot for me to change my number, but it felt so much better too, to let that go, to let him go. And now, I'm more focused on healing before jumping into everything. Am I close to love? No. No, not at all. One day I'll find somebody who loves me and I can love them. Someone who I can share myself with without losing myself. Who will empower me as I them. Who will embrace who I am truly, despite my flaws. And who will accept me, my past, my present, and will help me into the future. But not right now. I have too much to patch up. Now, if you've gone through this or you're going through this, this is what you expect. Adjustments. The phases of getting over it, the phases of getting through it, feeling it to fix it. Because you have to love yourself. Now, it took a long time for me to really look into a mirror and want to look into it, to see someone so beautiful. Because I just wasn't seeing that. Now I can look into the mirror and see the most beautiful person in the world. and nobody can tell me different. Granted, there's jokes. There's a lot of things I've noticed. I'm sad. I'm happy, but I'm sad. I don't know if I'll ever find someone again who could make me feel so safe and comfortable. But I'm not looking at all, because I need to make myself feel safe and comfortable before anybody else could. I went through a lot in the months after. A lot of self-fixing. So anybody that's looking to leave, you can do it. Family or not, you can do it. Because you are willing to. Because you want to. Because you are strong. Beautiful in the best of ways. No matter what he tells you, what she tells you, you're amazing. I know you are. And nobody is going to tell me different. Nobody is going to tell you different, because you're awesome. I know it's going to take so much. Trust me, I know. But you keep fighting. That light at the end of the tunnel is real. And it's not a light. It's you. You are at the end of that tunnel. You are who you find there. In the darkness, you find yourself. And it's the best feeling in the world. The best. I'll be lying if I said that you're not going to have some issues. You are. But I promise you, they're so worth getting over. So worth. Now, this video was just about what led up to it, the day that it happened, of me leaving, and a little bit about after I left. Now, I told you that I'm going to be sharing some videos a little bit after. Now, I'll talk about a little bit more internal stuff on the next video. But just know I'm happy. And you can be too. And thank you so much for watching. But please share these videos. Everybody needs to know what to do